Hi guys, welcome to Punch Drunk Critics. I'm Cortland Jacoby. The new film, Brian and Charles, follows a lonely inventor who creates a robot friend from a washing machine and a mannequin head, and their adventures as they navigate a less than tolerant world. I'm here with the director, Jim Archer, and producer, Rupert Majendie. I'm sorry if I butchered that. I've been to practice that before. Welcome, guys. So Rupert, David Earl, who plays Brian, has been doing a version of this character in his stand-up act for years.
Yeah.
And one day you call in, I assume as a joke, to his radio show, and use a robot voice. And this is sort of the impetus of like both of those characters of Brian and Charles. What was it about that like initial bit that you thought, okay, I want to see where this story goes. I want to continue on with this.
Well, I think it's from that radio show. It was quite where Charles became. There was a lot of other regular callers, but Charles was a regular caller, and so there was an opportunity to sort of grow their relationship, and it was so sort of mad and endearing that it was that sort of odd couple and the strangeness of and the awkwardness of the sort of pauses and the natural rhythm. It was just like we'd love to sort of see this, see this in the flesh, really. So yeah, it felt that felt like the sort of the good hook really into it, and then we started doing all the live stuff, and when Chris got involved, and it just grew from strength to strength.
Jim, the film has a wonderful balance of like comedy and drama and world building, from the empty landscapes to like the dark natural tones. What were some of your biggest cinematic inspirations for the piece?
That's a great question. I watched a lot of kind of documentaries, like particularly modern ones. There's one documentary called Sleep Furiously, which like no one has ever seen. It's like a really small kind of documentary set in Wales actually, and it's just like a meditation on like just country life, but like it was kind of interesting how it sort of used landscape to sort of tell story. So like that was definitely a big influence. And actually a lot of kind of short films. Like I looked at lots of short films that like really rely on kind of beautiful cinematography. So those kind of things. But also just like, my own like love for the countryside.
This was originally a short film that was then optioned by Film 4, which David Earl has sung his praises for. What was the biggest change that you guys made in order to expand the story on a larger scale from, a shorter thing to something bigger?
I guess it's kind of like, just adding all these characters, like the short film doesn't really exist in the feature film in a way. Like that story doesn't quite track. So like really we took the characters and we took the sort of tone and style, but like the actual story we had to sort of almost start again from scratch. And like David and Chris had all these like sort of really wacky ideas at first. Not wacky, that sounds
really
kooky.
That's when we nearly fell out.
Yeah,
the film. We started calling them wacky.
Yeah, and they're like, what? But they had all these ideas that like, oh, he's from space, or he's from like. But then we kind of realized that the core of it is about loneliness, and so the best thing is for Brian to just be this inventor who's building a friend. Like that represents loneliness better than anything.
And to sort of grow the world out, so bring in other characters from the village and stuff. That was a bit of a process, wasn't it? To sort of have a believability that they belong in Brian's world.
Yeah, and that's the most fun thing to do. I feel like from my perspective, to build the world like physically as well as kind of like emotionally, and find out where all these characters hang out.
David and Chris, I just finished talking with them, and they both said that they did not see the Frankenstein parallels that all of the critics are talking about. I was wondering if you guys saw those and it was like you just kept it to yourself, or like how, like if that was how that came about.
Your question is, how the hell do we not notice that? Basically.
Yeah, pretty much. How the hell did you guys not figure that out?
Someone said that, like, we were like, yeah, good point.
Yeah, someone said it at like Sundance Q&A in January, and then we're like, oh yeah. I think it's obviously just clearly like that's such a big, like, you know, staple kind of film, kind of like not trope, but like such a famous thing that it's obviously in our subconscious. But like really with the thunder thing and the storm, we just thought that was like in our heads just like a mood creation, and like I never believed that like the thunder brought the lightning brought Charles to life, but like yeah, obviously now I'm just going to pretend that was totally intentional, and yeah,
I'm going to watch it though.
Yeah,
I've genuinely never seen it.
I don't think I have.
Yeah.
I had to read that book 3 times throughout my academic career, like once in middle school, once in high school, and once in college, and I hated it. And this made me like the book, so I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, this is Frankenstein. That's what we're doing.
This is Frankenstein. Well, it's funny too, because I think that like Frankenstein is, like you said, such a monumental classic piece, but it doesn't get remade like the same way that, say, like Pride and Prejudice does. So that's, I think, maybe why people are like, you know, oh, it's Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Maybe we should call it Frankenstein.
Maybe they should do a new double act, Charles and Frankenstein.
Yeah,
doesn't quite have a ring to it.
Brian and Charles and Frankenstein.
Well, wouldn't it be Brian's monster?
Oh, very good.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let me see. So what was your favorite bit or line from the film that you hope like stays with you guys for a while? Or it could be like a little head nod or something that like the characters did.
I really like the moment when when Charles first talks, and the bit at the end when he puts his hand out and says, "I'm your friend." That sort of gets me, and Brian's reaction to that is, yeah, it's just a really lovely, genuine moment that sort of lays such a good foundation for the rest of the story.
Yeah, same. I actually really like the opening shot. Like, I sort of feel very proud of that scene, like just setting up the whole kind of tone of the film, and just like able to open an entire film on like a sort of 2-minute tracking shot with just loads of voiceover, like and just how you sort of see the comedy coming through. Like David starts very seriously hammering, and then it gets kind of sillier as it goes along. Like, yeah, I love that.
I love that too. Guys, thank you so much for sitting and chatting with me. I really appreciate it. It's been a blast.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks so much.
Was the name Charles Francesco like always going to be that? Like, is it always the last name? Was that like in the?
That was on the first time I ever phoned in on the radio show, and he said, "What's your name?" And I said, "Charles." And then he goes, "What's your surname?" And for some reason, Rescue just popped it. So yeah, since day one, that's been his name.
Yeah, if you look closely in the film, there is a clue as to why he chooses that.
Right. Yeah. But still, I love that, and I've been saying it in like Charles' voice for like the last 6 months, just around my house when I'm bored. Anyway, thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thanks for checking out the show. If you like what we're laying down, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest stuff.